Hey everyone, I'm Rachel,
And I'm Jen, and welcome to Devilish Bookworms, the podcast.
where we read and review books and release episodes every Tuesday.
This week we have The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent.
Yay!
It was a terrifying day when the king of the vampires destroyed a human city. Ruthless and bloody, he stalked the streets with his army, slaying anyone who crossed his path, anyone, that is, except for a small child. No one knew why the king took pity on the girl, whisking her away to his castle, far from the violence and torment on the streets below. Oraya may have been a human, but she would be just as ruthless as her father. And just like her father, she would compete in the Kejari, a competition where the only way to win is to kill each one of your competitors. She was made to do just that. So why is she having such a hard time killing the man with the piercing red eyes? Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, Rachel, what did you think of this book?
Um, so with this book, I'm gonna have to be very careful in how I talk about this book because my thoughts and feelings at the beginning of this book were very different from my thoughts and feelings at the end of this book. So, I liked it. I liked it in the way that you have to um expose yourself to things that may piss you off severely. Um yeah, no, I it was a very interesting read
It really does send you on an emotional roller coaster.
of
It's
absolute fury.
yeah, it's like, oh, that's so sweet, and oh my God, what the fuck? And then oh, and nope, we're going right back down here.
Nope.
I had to walk away several times.
I Obviously we don't do spoilers. However, I did post a spoiler on Threads because I was so furious that my whole I was so angry. So if you follow us on Threads, then you may have seen the post. Um Anywho. Um, you know what else? You know what else was weird about this book? So I listened to this book and I feel as though I may have liked it better if I had read it. Um, like I could not have cared any less about this book until chapter 11.
Mm.
Like really important things were happening and I was just like, "Oh my God, can this book get any better, please? Like I need to care even the smallest bit." Like someone she loved died, and I was just like, "Oh, this is so boring." But part of me almost feels like that's my issue. One of my issues with audiobooks in general is that sometimes I just can't um focus on them, and I think about like there something would happen, and I would be like, "Wait, what? When did that happen?" Or it was like when the trial started, or like she was speared and I'm like, when was she speared? What are these trials in which you speak?
Ooh, okay. So you actually bring up a very good point, and I was going to bring it up a little bit later, but we're gonna just fucking go for it here.
Okay.
So because I actually was reading and listening to this at the same time, like, well, not literally at the same time, but like going back and forth between reading at work or listening to it at work or vice versa. Um, so when I was reading it and they would get to the um
Yeah, it was an interlude.
interlude, I hated that because I'm sorry, but when you do something like that, at least try to explain who the fucking person is that you're talking about, because sometimes until halfway through the interlude, I didn't know who the fuck she was referring to. And then I kind of got onto the whole, oh, it's always Oraya. Like
Yeah.
it's just her during different points of her life. And instead of saying that, she just kind of like drops you in a memory and then expects you to figure out what is happening. And I disliked that very much. Even though I liked some of the information that was put into it, I didn't like the way that she went about it. And it like, especially when you're listening to it, it made it worse.
I 100% agree with you. So, for those of you who've never read this book, basically what happens is this girl, there's, where the FMC is a woman who was a child when her like whole, city was burned to the ground. Basically, she was brought in like under the wing of like the vampire king, and then like she joins this like basically Hunger Games, right? And so we're plopped in the middle of her, joining the games and like the tournament or whatever it's called. And then like the interludes were 100% done just as you said, to convey memories. That's 100% what it was there for, which memories are really hard to do because sometimes they don't fit in well. Sometimes they take you out of the story. Sometimes they're done really messy and they take away from the story instead of enhancing it. So that's what the interludes were for. I totally get that. But like you said, sometimes instead of giving you sometimes it gave you information that you really liked. Like I wanted to know more about her history. I wanted to know more about why she was upset and what happened with, the man that she loved. I wanted to know that stuff, but the way that it was presented just completely took me out of it, because it was like we had the story, and then the interlude would come along and it would be like the girl's father was angry with her for disobeying him. And then, she wanted to make sure that she was doing everything she could to make him proud. And so it was like, it was told completely differently. And I still don't know how I felt about it. Obviously, you really did not like it.
Well, no, because even there was one point where it was like, oh, she woke up and she was in bed with her brother and sister, and she heard commotion and with her parents, and she smelt this smell, and like, yeah, that was a great memory. Like I want to refer back to this later, but at the same time, the way that she did it, it didn't do it justice. I mean,
Yeah.
if you really wanted to convey that memory, don't put it in an interlude like that, or at least do it a little bit differently. Like, I don't even know.
Oh, you know what? Instead of the interlude and having it be like told like a story, maybe if she had done, you know, well, and here's the thing, I want to preface this by saying this was a decision made by the creator, and I'm not like, I'm sure some people love this, and I'm not saying that she should have done something different, because it was, I would never tell someone that they should or should not do something with their own works, right? So I don't want to like word this as, well, she should have done this, but I'm thinking that we may have enjoyed it a little better if she did something along the lines of, you know, past, present, you know, like somehow, or sometimes books will do like a present and then the past and then the present, past, present, past. Um, and I feel like that may have, like every 5 chapters do a past scene. That might have been a little bit better, maybe.
Or instead of labeling it interlude, maybe say memories or past or
Yeah,
Oraya
that's
long
what I'm saying.
ago. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. At least we're on the same page. I didn't I'm sorry, people. I've been like a total airhead today, so excuse my not getting it.
I feel like we're all airheads sometimes.
Oh no, I'm just like an airhead all the time. Just today it's out of control.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that you brought up the interludes because I could not for the life of me decide if I thought they were cute or if I thought they were pointless.
So like I literally struggled because I did have that love-hate relationship with it. So it's like I wanted to love them so much because like I said there was good information. I loved getting the explanations, but I just absolutely loathed the way that she did it. And
Mm,
I get it, creative choice, and I can totally appreciate that it was written well. It was easy to misinterpret. So
mhm.
I just really I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse.
Yeah. You know what I loved?
What?
I loved Oraya. I loved how I loved how crass and rude and violent and just like I don't know. I just loved her. I thought she did not give an inch. You know what I mean?
She really didn't, but when she did, she really kicked herself for it. And I can also respect that because yeah, wonder why.
I
We're
don't
both
know. You've been really into the whole lovey-dovey, cute, like, romancy types of things lately.
I have, but then I crave violence.
I crave violence. Well,
Like,
Araya gave us a fair share of violence.
thank fucking God because
I loved her.
I really needed there to be some sort of absolute ruthlessness to her to be able
Yeah.
to envision her in a castle of vampires.
Yeah.
If she was any sort of like pushover, I could never see her living a year or week or month in that type of
A
situation.
week, a month, or even a year. Yeah, no, I'm in a funk right now, right? And I'm not gonna go farther into it because literally no one wants to hear about it. But right now, I really just love the rude, crude, sarcastic, bitchy FMCs. And Oraya did it for me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we constantly go back and forth. Sometimes you're into the like super lovey-dovey shit, and I'm just like, no, violence. I need violence. But I also like sometimes get really sick of romance, period, and want to go for something nerdy. I think we just have our moments where we just flip-flop.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I have a thing.
Do you
Now,
now?
I do. I disliked Vincent from the get-go. Now,
Okay.
I know that's her
So,
father, and I
yeah, I was just
what
gonna say Vincent's her dad, so everyone knows.
yeah. So I know that's her father. I know he brought her into his home as a child, raised her as his child, raised her to be strong and take no shit and protect herself while she's in like the worst possible scenario she could be in. She survived. Okay.
Hmm.
But I felt like because he was a vampire, he destroyed a lot of her humanity.
Sure.
And it bothered me. It really bothered me. As a parent, it bothered me.
Okay.
Be- because he never told her that he loved her.
Sure.
A- And that right there literally made me hate him.
I mean, there's thousands of parents, like human parents, that don't tell their kids they love them.
And I hate every single one of them.
Fair.
I okay, I'm gonna get kind of sappy, but anytime that my kid leaves the house or gets out of my vehicle or I know I'm not gonna see her, or she's going to bed. It's always love you, bye, or love you, good night, or I love you, see you later. You
Mhm.
know, like I can't not say it. Growing up with a parent that never wanted to say it, or only said it when they wanted to kind of use it as like it was leverage. Anyways, so as a parent that faced that as a kid, I literally couldn't stand the fact that he couldn't show her. He showed her that he loved her by teaching her those things, but he couldn't tell her, and that bothered me so fucking much.
I can dig it.
And I feel like that kind of contributed to the destruction of her humanity a little bit.
Well, yeah, I'm
Of
sure.
Okay, I'm sorry, I
I
had
do.
to say that.
No, you're good. You're good. I don't know that I had the same problem with it because of the fact that um I don't know. I think that for me um it was more like because of the situation, it was a little bit more understandable, you know?
Hmm.
Um I will say that I kind of you know what's funny is one of my notes is that everyone in her life shows affection with sarcasm and with like they show it a certain way, with like
Okay.
subliminal messages and like obviously that's not healthy and there's nothing healthy about the way they showed their affection toward her. But I I don't know, I kind of connected with it, so I kind of liked it a little bit. And then all of a sudden there's this person comes in and like says what they mean and like shows her like actual, genuine affection and she doesn't know what to do with it. I was like, I get that.
Hey, I could totally see that from your side.
It's
But
funny.
I just like I don't know. I don't understand. Well, I do understand why I got so heated about it, but
Yeah.
I literally went on like a full on tangent in my head. Like, how dare you? How dare you not tell her you first? Go back. But it was so bad. Like, but then you had like Alana, and she might not have said it, but at least you felt more of the warmth and the love out of her, even just by like their little banter.
Hmm.
Um, because there was one part where they were talking about her going into the Kejari, and um she was saying goodbye, and she's like, Araya's like, don't drink yourself to death, you old hag. And she's like, and she retorts with, don't skewer yourself with that stick up your ass.
That was so funny.
Oh, I fell in love with her immediately when we got that,
Hmm.
because you could instantly tell that even though she was giving her shit, she loved her.
Yeah.
And you just didn't get that vibe with Vincent, and that was her father. Just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And no, I get that. Um,
I have one more thing about Alana.
mhm.
She okay, so Alana was my favorite character. There was a moment with her, and I think this is like probably where I was like, yeah, she's my favorite character, because I know someone that would probably say this. Um, but she goes, I was paid well for it. Paid to have handsome men suck on my neck all night. My younger self would be thrilled.
Let me guess, Mary.
No, not at all.
Oh.
Deb.
Oh.
She's just got that wild side to her, but
I will, you know what? I will admit, honestly, like, oh, my book just fell. Um, I was listening to the part where she got bit for the first time, and all I
Mhm.
could think to myself was like, okay, listen, if that's what it's like, I completely understand when in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Riley goes off with like the little, blood sluts, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
That was a great scene.
That was a great scene. For like the half a second of like spice in this book, that was the best part.
No, there was more than that.
I know, but it just I feel like that was the best part of the spice, to be honest with you. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, there was the actual scene, but I thought this was better.
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't ask why, but it just I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't mind the other scene, but okay, I'm just gonna shut the fuck up now.
Why?
Because I'm like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, that part was pretty good too.
Absurd.
It's like if they were so far between each other, it was just like I forgot for a second.
Well, because this book was very plot based. It was plot driven, and then that
It
came
was.
second.
Yeah,
You know,
it definitely, or maybe even third, but
I
it still
kind of
came.
prefer
But
that though.
yeah, no, I get it.
I'm very plot driven. Like if I care about the plot and the characters, like I'll read
Yeah,
it,
no,
like
yeah,
I'll enjoy it more.
yep, I can understand that one.
Speaking of, I feel like I need to apologize to everyone. Listen, Jen, you and I have talked about this 10 seconds ago, but I feel like I have to apologize to everyone for last week's podcast. It was just, I feel as though I let my outside stuff bleed into the podcast, and that is not why we are here. We are here for fun, and I feel like it wasn't fair to the author. So I'm sorry to the author because her book really was good. And I'm sorry to not like, okay, so here's the thing. If it was legitimately a book that I did not enjoy, I would not apologize for not being into it, right? Because like it wasn't for me. But I feel like last week that's not what happened. It was literally just me like letting other stuff into it. So, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, plus novellas are seriously hard to review on the podcast because like there's stuff that happens in them and there's a lot that happens, but like with a short book, it's harder because like there's not as much stuff that goes on in it, so you can't really like sure you sit with the characters and you know the characters, you love the characters, but not as much as like, something longer. But that's, different books.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to shut up.
So I will kind of get us back on track then. So in the Kejari, when they're
In
sitting
the Hunger
there and they're
Games. Sorry.
yes, when they're fighting everybody and everything, and then they finally choose to team up. We meet Rain and what's her
Misha.
name? Misha. Yes. Oh
I
my
loved
God,
Misha.
I was just gonna say, was she not the cutest fucking thing in the world?
She was giving Alice from Twilight, and I just loved her so much.
Yes, that's exactly oh my God. She was so bubbly and happy, and yet she's ready to slit people's throats. And I'm like, yes, I'm here for it. Like, let's go.
I loved when we got more into the story and there were discussions of like, why are you guys here? Like, why did you join? I loved that because the seriously thinking about like how cute and bubbly and whatever she was did not fit the vibe of someone who would have gone to a till death match.
Mm,
And so I kind of liked how that I like how her personality fit into it.
it really did. Ah, but do you have any favorite quotes?
I did have favorite quotes. I actually, you know what? I really dug the first quote. Like the very first quote in the book.
Stop it. I have that written down too.
So it says, the king did not know then that his greatest love would also be his ruination, nor that either would come in the form of a tiny, helpless human child. And like I read it. I actually read that one on KU. Was it on KU? Yeah, this book's on KU.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh snap, let me just bust out my my notebook right now.
Honestly, I did the same thing. I was like, this is a fantastic opening. Like it tells you everything and nothing.
Did you start listening to or reading the second one? Well, I
Oh,
guess I
the
should
of
start by asking, are you going to read the second one?
um I'm probably going to listen to it versus trying to read it.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I it is in the plan.
Yeah, me too. And the beginning, the first line of the second book is similar. It's like the same setup but different.
Ooh. Ooh.
I know. I know.
Ooh.
I was really excited.
Ooh, and especially
Uh-huh.
especially with the ending. Oh.
Yeah, we'll
Mm.
get to that ending. Obviously no spoilers, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Mm.
Um the my favorite was, so I liked that one. Then there are four others that I really liked. So do you want to say yours first?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so
'Cause
another one that I loved,
I'm interested.
it brought it brought up stuff that it brought up imagery that I had thought about but never in this context. So it says vampires behaved as if every emotion, every impulse took a bit longer to reach the surface of their skin, but humans laid it bare. They were loud and expressive and unapologetic. And like, yes, when you look at a vampire, 9 times out of 10, whoever's portraying that vampire is their movement is languid and it's fluid and it's kind of like, it's like like every movement is a dance, right? And it's soft and slow. Um, but humans, we're clumsy and we when we're fast and we like, move. It's almost like, vampires have that grace that we do not possess. And the way that she said it, they behaved as if every emotion, every impulse took a bit longer to reach the surface of their skin. I thought it was a great way to word it, you know.
Mm. You always pull out some good ones.
Thanks. I try not to overanalyze anymore though.
Oh, come on. We all know that you do, though.
Not as much as I used to.
Well, that's a good thing.
I know, I know. Um I also liked, it was a cute moment between the two, the MMC and the FMC. It says, he caught me watching him. Stop it with that face, princess. I'm not making a face. He heaved a long suffering sigh. Are you really not aware that you're always making a face? He strode to the door and I followed, suddenly very conscious of my facial muscles. He was wrong. I was definitely not always making a face.
I laughed at that part too.
It was cute.
It was.
Especially for us who also always make faces.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't always make a face.
Yeah, and then the last one for me is it shows, so I love be careful how you say it. I love rain, right?
Okay.
Or I
Okay.
started to love rain. Because he was very like, when he was talking to her, she was used to being people being sarcastic and people being cryptic and people being this and that and the other thing, and he wasn't. And he called her out when she needed to be called out, and he was usually what she needed. And there was one part where she was lashing out, and this hit me so hard, like right now, like where I am right now, because she was lashing out. She wanted to make him hurt. And I totally get that. And he said, I know what this is, and I'm not doing it with you. Because like even though he even though it hurt him, it bugged him that she was being so mean and awful and nasty to him. He didn't take it personally. He knew what it was. He knew why she was doing it. And he was like, no, I'm not going to partake in this little game that you're playing. I'm not the one. So I loved that part.
Mm, okay.
What about you?
So, me, of course, I had a little bit different ones,
Is
but
it one of the scenes where he was like, "I love you so much," and she was like, "Oh my god, I love you so much too. Oh, you're perfect. You're the moon and the stars above." I'm
no.
sorry.
I absolutely love you, but no. Oh my goodness. So, one of my favorites was, yet as I grew older, I learned that being ruthless was not the same as being fearless.
Dig it. That's a
Yep,
pretty good one.
it was. It was. Another was death isn't frightening when it's weighed against an insignificant existence.
Can you read that again? Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Read it again. Read it again.
Death isn't frightening when weighed against. God, death isn't.
Okay, so clearly one of us, our internet was doing funky things or something because you just started talking all at once and then screamed at me.
Oh my God. So I had read it again, and then you said, do it, read it again. And I said, so that's when I was like, death isn't frightening.
Oh man, I missed it when you said it again. That's fine. I'll listen to the podcast episode.
Hold on. Let me say it again just in case.
Just in case it didn't translate, can you please put when you were yelling at me in the podcast? Can you just keep it in? So everyone can see how mean you are to me.
Yes, I will. uh, this is what happens when we're together, just in general. Okay. Death isn't frightening. Now I'm not going to be able to read it. Death isn't frightening when weighed against an insignificant existence.
Boom.
Boom. I literally had to drop the notebook too.
Boom.
uh but literally there was so many good ones.
Yeah.
Even like the plants were fragile and alive and impermanent, just like me, and yet they still managed to reclaim the ancient structure. It was a little inspiring.
Mm,
Fuck, I dug it. But
I
my
dig it.
favorite,
Oh, I'm excited.
I didn't like feeling things. Emotions were ever shifting and devoid of logic, and they
Mm.
gave me no way to sink my blade into them. But I felt too many of them now, bubbling up under the surface of my steel exterior.
I feel you, girl. I feel you.
Fucking emotions.
They're the
Great.
actual worst.
They really are. I was just gonna say they're great until they're not.
I don't even think they're great. I'm trying really hard to just not feel them anymore.
Oh, I know.
Let's just
There's
remove them.
I
Um,
wish we could.
so you know one thing that she did that I love?
What's that?
So I love this thing that I'm seeing recently. And I feel it's not a new thing, right? But it is something. Can we just all agree that truffles taste like dirt? They're gross. Why are they so expensive? Anyway, so there's this new thing that I've been seeing where people like when people repeat things that are meaningful, right? Like in this book it was someone saying they're dead princess or they're already dead princess or something like that. And
Mm,
Nenia does it a lot in her books too, where it'll be like something that's said in the beginning and then it just keeps coming up. And so like usually it's like in italics or something and it's literally just it's written in a way that it would pop up in your head. You know what I mean? Like, when you're doing something and you remember someone saying something and I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. Every time it comes up, every time she remembered him saying, they're already dead princess. I was like, "Oh, my heart."
I only like it sometimes. I'm gonna say it.
Mhm.
because of the fact that sometimes it's overdone.
I feel that.
Uh, so I don't know. There's some authors that do it really, really well. Like I feel like this author here did it really good. Nenia definitely did it good. But there's I'm not gonna even say who it is, but there was one
Mhm.
that it it really irked me. I was like, oh my God, will you just shut the fuck up? But
Uh,
yeah, that's just me. But I do want to talk about Rain for a second. I know you said that you had a love-hate relationship with him, or well, you
I will
started
not
to love
elaborate.
him. But I just wanted to say that I actually loved his relationship with Mish. Like,
I know.
that was the sweetest damn fucking relationship in this entire book. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, he treated her like a little sister, and it was like one of those things where he would do and kill anybody for this girl,
Hmm.
and she would do the same for him, but she would also provoke him to do it for her. So it was just like, I don't know. Their whole vibe was adorable and I loved it. And
No,
that's all I wanted.
I totally get it. I agree.
Uh, but who was your favorite? Or was Oraya your favorite?
I really loved her.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved her. I loved her when I didn't like her. I loved her when she was doing dumb stuff. I just, I really loved, I dug her. I really wish I could discuss Rain a little bit more.
I know. I would love to I would love to bring up her dreams, but her dreams are not not that they're spoilers, but here, I'll give it this. So during the Kejari, well, actually before the Kejari, Oraya was having dreams. And obviously we talked about these being in the interludes. And they would give her information or bring her back to her old days of uh with a lover. There was also with her family. But the one thing that I couldn't wrap my head around was the fact that they kept telling her, you don't remember your family, you don't remember this, you don't remember that. And yet she was clearly having such vivid dreams of her sister, her brother, her mother, her father.
Hmm.
And it just it drove me crazy that they kept making her feel like she was crazy, yet she was having these dreams. And that is all I'm going to say.
Gaslighting is infuriating. Like,
It really
absolutely
fucking
infuriating.
It really fucking is. And when you're reading about it and you're watching it happen and you're like, no, stop leaving them. Stop it. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah. But I'm definitely gonna read the second one. I gotta know. Like the ending just it ain't it. Mm-mm. That can't be the end.
So no, it's definitely not the end. I mean, there's supposed
I
to be
know.
6 books in the series.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Holy
there's supposed to be
shit.
6. Um, but no, that ending, I will not give spoilers, but I don't think I've ever hit the end of a book and been so infuriated in my life.
And just unsatisfied. Completely unsatisfied.
It made me so angry. It made me so angry. And I just can't even, but like in a good way. I'm a very big um like pusher of, you have to experience things that are not pleasurable to you. You have to read things that make you angry, listen to music that makes you, sad or whatever. You have to have conversations with people who have differing opinions of you, if you can do it without punching each other in the face. Like, you have to be able to experience things that are not pleasant you know? And
Mm-hmm.
this book made me so angry that I have to listen to, or I have to read the next one. Like I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. Because now her vengeance is my vengeance and I need revenge.
Yeah. I can
But like
totally dig that.
but also part of me, obviously, like the romantic inside is kind of like, well, I just want to make sure that everything gets better because like you want it to be better. But then most of me is just like, absolutely not. I want her to stab faces.
I
I
crave violence.
crave violence.
Oh,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I legitimately did not think that I was going to like this book as much as I ended up liking it.
Okay. See,
So thanks for recommending it for the podcast.
you're welcome. It's only been sitting on my shelf since December.
I know it's been sitting in my KU for literally ever, but now I get to take it
Well,
out. Put the second
there
one
we
in.
go.
So
So,
upset.
the one thing I have to say is happy 50th episode.
I know. A happy 50th episode to you.
I can't believe it's been 50 episodes.
Dude,
It's
me
so
neither.
crazy. It feels like there's no way, but yeah, there's a way. We did it.
We did it. We did
Oh,
it. Yay.
yay.
Yeah, we did it.
What
Sorry.
is that even from? I
It's
I
from a
like
cartoon from a
I
kid's
know.
show.
I know. And I'm trying to think of which one it
Is it? No, it's
is.
Dora. It's 100% Dora.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I was like, I've seen this show. Like I've watched it a million times. I know it, but I just couldn't think of it.
I know it. I know it.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
So,
so um let me see. So this book, the Serpent and the Wings of Night, was written by Carissa Broadbent, and you can find her at her website, carissabroadbentbooks.com, Carissabroadbentbooks.com. And from there, you can see a list of her books. She has two series, War of Lost Hearts and Crowns of Nyaxia. This book, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, is part of the Crowns of Nyaxia series. And then she also has like an About Me section, a blog, um, and then like keeping in touch with her, like links to all of her socials. Yeah, it's pretty rad. If I do say so myself. Her Instagram is at Carissa Broadbent Books, Twitter at Carissa. Well, it's not Twitter, it's X, but CarissANasyra. On TikTok, she is at Carissa Broadbent. Um, yeah, so I would say definitely go check her out, and then I don't know. I'm gonna read the next one.
I'm probably gonna have to read the next five.
Jen, what are we reading next week?
So next week we have The Coveted and the Cursed by Lila Taylor.
Gasp. You know what this is? This book was an ARC book that we received. Do, 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 do. And
I'm so excited.
I know I was so excited. It is actually already out. It was out on it was released this past Tuesday. So it is a fresh book, guys. If you want to check it out, go buy it. And we'll review it next week.
Yes, we will.
All right, everyone. So if you love us, please show us how much you love us and follow us on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, all the things at Devilish Bookworms. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Cunt. All right.
Bye.
Bye.